park, a sunny morning, the emperor, courtiers, FAUST, and Mephistopheles, in conventional dress, not conspicuous, both nearly.
Has your Majesty forgiven us for putting on that magic fire show?
Beckoning to them to stand up. I could do with many such entertainments. I saw myself suddenly transported into a glowing region, almost as if I was Pluto. It was a rocky valley, dark and smoldering, with deep pains in it and here and there flames whirling out of them, ouching and closing overhead in a flickering world that came and went incessantly. Through twisted columns of fire, I saw far off ranks of people approaching in a wild sweep and doing homage to me as usual. I recognized a courtier or two among them. I felt as if I was lord of countless salamanders. And so you are, sir, because each of the elements recognizes your majesty as supreme. You tested the fiery element and found it obedient. Now throw yourself into the sea, where it is roughest, and you'll at once find you are treading a pearly floor, beautifully unclothed, in shifting light green waves edged with purple, a lovely place to dwell in. And yourself at the center of it. When you move step by step, the palaces move with you. The walls themselves are alive with things strolling, darting swiftly this way and that. Sea monsters crowd towards the strange, soft light. They come with a rush, but they can't enter where you are. You'll see richly colored dragon with gold scales, sharks with open jaws. You can look right down their throats. You may be delighted with all your court around you, but you never saw such throne as this, and you won't like what is sweetest. Nereids will come, all curious to see this new dwelling place in the watery world. The young ones like fishes, timid and lustful, those behind them more experienced. Certes will hear the news and offer her hand and her lips to a second palace. And now for your seat on Olympus. You can keep Olympus and the hairy places. That's a throne we shall mount only too soon.
And as your Majesty knows, you already own the earth.
What a stroke of luck! It was that brought you here, straight out of the Arabian Nights. If you are as inexhaustible as Scheherazade, you may be assured of my highest favor. Stand ready to oblige when the daily world disgusts me, as it often does, in a hurry.
Your Highness, I never dreamed in all my life that I should have such a piece of good fortune to announce. I'm delighted and undoubtedly so in your presence. We've paid off all our debts and got out of the usual closures. Those hellish worries are over. I couldn't be happier if I was in heaven.
Also in a hurry. We've issued an installment of pay, and the whole army's loyal again. The men are in good spirits, the pubs are full, and the girls are busy. To think how you ran to tell me, and they're breathing freely again, and their faces, how all smoothed out and smiling. Entering. Inquire of these two. They did the job.
It is for the counselor to explain.
Approaching slowly. Feeling great happiness in my old age on account of all this. Hear me then, and look at this momentous piece of paper which has turned all our woe to wealth.
He reads,
To whom it may concern, this paper here is worth 1,000 crowns, is collateral lying safely in the wealth of buried treasure within our borders. Steps we have been taken for this treasure to be raised without delay, so as to redeem the pledge. This, I suspect, is criminal. A gigantic fraud. Who forged the emperor's signature? Has his offense gone unpunished? Don't you remember? You signed yourself only last night. The counselor came up and said to you in our presence, allowing himself the high pleasure on this festive occasion of ensuring your people's welfare with a few strokes of the pen. You signed, and our conjurers, the printers, quickly ran off 1,000 copies. We stamped them at once to let everyone share the benefit without delay. Tens, thirties, fifties, and hundreds are all ready. You can't imagine how happy the people are. Look at your city. It was rotting and half dead, and now it's alive again with pleasure seekers. Your name has always spent happiness, but never before it looked so benign. We don't need the rest of the alphabet now. Your signature's enough to make them all as happy as yours. Do you mean to say they take it for gold money? The army's satisfied with it, the court? It looks queer to me, but I must let it pass.
It was impossible to hold them back. They scattered in the twinkling of an eye. The money changers have their doors wide open, cashing all the bills in gold and silver, at a discount, of course. And from there, people go to the butchers and bakers or to the pubs. Half the world has no thought of anything but eating, the other halves strutting about in new clothes. The drapers are cutting out, the tailors are busy drying. In the wine cellars, they are toasting the emperor in torrents. The frying pans are sizzling, the plates are clattering.
If you stroll strong the terraces by yourself, you'll soon spot a pretty lady, gorgeously decked out, smirking at you and peeping with one eye from behind her peacoat fan to see if you produce one of these spells and quickly, than by any smart talk or rhetoric, it will procure you the best that love can offer. You don't have to bother with a purse or a satchel. You can carry a bill easily in your bosom alongside of a love letter. The priest can carry it piously in his prayer book, and the soldier can take the weight off his legs and move more freely. Your Majesty must pardon me if I seem to be making light of this great achievement by going into these details.
The unlimited treasures lying buried in your territory are not being used. A wealthy exceeding the farthest range of thought led your imagination straight to the limit. It will still fall short, but deep-seeing minds have infinity confidence in the infinite.
Compared with gold and pearls, a paper like this is so convenient. And you know what you've got. No bargaining over it, no exchange needed, nothing to stop you taking your fill of love and wine. If you want cash for it, you can have it. Otherwise, you do a little digging. You can auction your valuables, your cups or chains, and the bills you get can be redeemed at once, thus putting all the doubters and mockers to shame. You become quite used to this and don't want it otherwise. There'll always be treasure, gold, and paper enough anywhere in the empire. The emperor has to thank you both for this great benefit. I propose to make the reward as nearly as possible equal to the service. I put our underground territory in your charge, and I appoint you custodians of its treasures. You're well informed about them all. Digging must be under your control. Join your forces, you masters of our treasures, and enjoy the dignity of your office, in which the underworld and the upper world will work harmoniously together.
I welcome the magician as my colleague. There'll be no friction between us whatsoever.
Off with Faust. I am now going to give each one of you a present. But you must tell me what you will do with it. Receiving. I shall be merry, light-hearted, content. Likewise. I shall buy rings and chains for my sweetheart. From now on, I shall treat myself to trusser wines. The dice are already itching in my pocket. Deliberately. I shall clear the encumbrances on my property. His valuable, I'll put it away with the rest of my valuables. I hope to hear talk of new activities, but anyone who knows you can soon see through you. With all your wealth, you'll just remain what you were. Entering. You're giving presents? Give me one. You'll only spend it on drink. These magic pieces of paper? I can't figure it out. I can believe that. You make such poor use of them. There's more of them falling on the floor. What shall I do? Pick them up. They're meant for you. of 5,000 crowns. Can this be mine?
You guzzler, have you come back to life again?
I've done it many times, but this is the best yet.
You're so delighted. You're all in a sweat.
Look here. Is this worth real money?
Yes, you can eat and drink your fill with it.
Can I buy land with it? A house and livestock?
Of course, bid and you'll get it.
And a castle? A forest to hunt in? A trout stream?
I must say, I'd like to see you as Lord of the Manor.
I'll be a landowner this very night.
Off. Alone. Who will say now? Said our fools. A fool? A dark gallery. Faust and Mephistopheles.
What are you dragging me off into this dark passageways for? Isn't there fun enough in there? All the opportunities you want for your tricks and pranks. Among them mixed crowd of courtiers.
Don't say that to me. You've talked that way too many times before. This running about now is just to avoid speaking with me. But I'm in a fix and don't know what to do. Both the marshal and the steward are after me. The emperor wants to see Helen and Paris right away. It has to be a clear picture of them, the ideal man and the ideal woman. So get to work at once. I've given my word and I must keep it.
Silly of you to promise so casually.
You didn't consider where your arts would lead us. We've made him wealthy. Now he expects us to amuse him.
It can't be done in a minute. Don't fool yourself. This is unfamiliar ground, most unfamiliar. It's a stiffer climb altogether. You'll end by getting wickedly involved again. You think it's as easy to call up Helen as to call up those ghosts of paper money. Now, if it was witches you wanted, dwarf deformities, or spooky spectres, I could supply them. But the devil's girls, though not to be despised, can't pose as classical heroines.
There you are again, grading out the same old turn. With you I never know where I am. You make difficulties at every turn, new demands all the time. You only need to mutter a few words and it's done, I know that. They'd be here before you could say Jack Robinson.
Those pagans are no concern of mine. They have a hell of their own. But there is a means.
Out with it, then. And don't prevaricate.
I dislike letting out one of the higher secrets. There are goddesses throned in solitude, outside of place, outside of time. It makes me uneasy even to talk about them. They are the mothers.
Started the mothers.
Does it give you the shivers?
The mothers. The mothers. It sounds so queer.
Queer it is. Goddesses unknown to mortal men, hardly to be named by them. You'll need to dig deep to reach them. It's your fault if you have to do it.
Show me the way.
There is no way. You enter the untrodden, the untreatable, the unpermitted, the unpermissible. Are you ready? There'll be no logs or boats. You'll be pushed about from one emptiness to another. Have you any notion what emptiness is? Barrenness?
I should have thought you would spare me this jargon. It all smacks of the witch's kitchen to me, and the long, long ago when I had to mix with others, learn meaningless things and teach them too. If I talked ghost sense as I saw it, I was contradicted more than ever. There were disagreeable incidents. I had to run off into the wilds and be alone. And finally, lacking all other company, I was driven to join up with the devil.
And even if you'd swum across the ocean and see its infinitude and feared you were done for, you'd at least have seen something. You'd have seen waves following waves, and when the sea was quiet, you'd have seen dolphins gliding through the green water. You'd have seen sun, moon, and stars, and clouds passing. But here, you'll see nothing in all the empty distances. You won't hear the tread of your own feet. You'll find nowhere to rest your head.
You talk like the biggest Mr. Dog that ever fooled his simple pupils, only you're in reverse. You're sending me into nothingness where I'm supposed to improve myself in my art. You're making me pull the chestnuts out of the fire for you like the cat in the fable. Well, here goes. We'll see what's at the bottom of it all. In this nothing of yours, I hope to find the everything.
I see you understand the devil, and I give you a word of approval before you go. Here, take this key.
That little thing,
Take hold of it and don't underrate it.
it's growing in my hand. It's shining, flashing.
Now you're beginning to see what it's worth. The key will nose out the way for you. Follow its lead. It'll conduct you to the mothers, shuddering.
The mothers. It hits me every time. What is this word that I can't bear to hear?
Why let a new word disturb you? Are you as narrow-minded as that? Do you only want to hear what you've learned before? Don't let anything bother you, whatever comes. You're well used now to the strangest happenings.
To slacken and come to a stop will never suit me. The thrill of war, of wonderment, is the best we have. The world may make us pay heavily for our feelings, but when the tremendous thing comes, we know how to respond.
Down you go, then. I might equally say, up you go. It's all the same. Escape the created world and enter the world of forms. Take your pleasure in what has long ceased to exist. You'll see it all as drifting clouds. Swing your key and keep it from you. Enthusiastically.
Good. I feel a new access of strength as soon as I grip it firmly. My chest expands onto the great task.
When you come to a glowing tripod, you know you're as far down as you can go. By the light it throws, you see the mothers, some sitting, some standing, or walking about. It just depends. Formation, transformation. The internal mind, internally communing with itself, surrounded by the forms of all creation. They won't see you, they only see ghosts. You'll be in great danger, and you'll need a stout heart. Go straight up to the tripod and touch it with your key. Faust strikes a commanding attitude with the key, looking at him. That's the way. It'll connect and follow you as your servant. Now you calmly ascend. Your good fortune will hoist you, and before they notice, you'll be here with. And once you have it here, you can call up hero and heroine from the shaft. You'll be the first to put it off. It'll be done, and you have done it. The clouds of incense will turn into gods as part of the magic process, and so remain.
And what do I do now?
Let your nature will your descent. Step your foot, and you'll go down. Step again, and you'll come up. Faust steps his foot and disappears. I hope that key works. I'll be curious to know if it ever gets back. Halls, brightly lit, emperor and princess, courtiers moving about. To Mephistopheles. You haven't yet put on the gold thing you promised. Get to work. The emperor's impatient.
His Majesty has just been inquiring. Make haste. You mustn't let him down.
It's this very business that's taking my partner away. He knows what to do, and he's working quietly. It requires a very special effort. When you're invoking that precious thing called the beautiful, you need the highest of the arts. You need the philosopher's magic.
It's all the same to me what arts you need. The emperor wants results.
A word with you, sir. You can see that I have a clear complexion, but in summer, I'm sorry to say, I get freckles by the hundred all over my white skin. Give me a remedy.
Too bad. To think of a handsome girl like you, all spotted in Maytime like a leopard. Take some frog's eggs and mix them with toast tongues. Distill carefully in the full moonlight, and pale to your skin when the moon is waning. When spring comes, you find your freckles have disappeared.
People are beginning to crowd around you. Please tell me what to do. I have a game leg. It makes me limp when I walk or try to dance or even make a bow.
May I put my foot on yours?
Well, that's what lovers do.
The touch of my foot means more than that. Like to like is a thing for all elements. Foot cause foot is the same with the other parts. Come here and watch out. Don't respond. Striking.
Ouch, it burns! That was a hard treat you gave me. It felt like a horse hoof.
But it's cured you. You can dance all you want now. Touch feet under the table with your sweetheart. Pressing forward.
Let me through. I'm in great trouble. It makes me boil with rage. I was extreme until yesterday, and now he's dropped me and gone after her.
Difficult, but listen to me. Take this piece of charcoal, sidle up to him and mark him with it as best you can on his sleeve, shoulder, and cloak. He'll feel a pang of remorse, but you must eat the charcoal at once and touch neither wine nor water. He'll be signing at your door before the day's over. Pressing forward.
I trust it's not poisonous?
Enraged. Madame, do you wish to insult me? This is no ordinary piece of charcoal. It comes from far away, from a funeral pyre that we used to work harder.
I'm in love, but they don't believe I'm old enough.
Aside, I don't know which way to turn. To the page. Don't set your heart on the youngest of them. The older ones will appreciate you better. Others press him. More coming. What a tussle I'm having. I had to start telling the truth. That's the poorest way out. But what can you do in a crisis like this? Oh, you mothers, do let go of FAUST. Looking around, the lights in the hall are burning low. The courtiers are all moving off, passing quietly down long corridors, distant galleries, and assembling in the old baronial hall, big but hardly big enough to hold them. Tapestries hanging on the walls, armor in every nook and corner. No magic words needed here, I should think. The ghosts will come of themselves.